Hey everyone, this is Evan from Morethanmeetstheseguys, coming to bring you a little message that I think needs to be expressed, succinctly here. So I'll do my best. We are a podcast that has started from the ground up, and I personally am someone who has loved Transformers all his life. They're important to me. The mythos, the toys, the whole legacy that's brought to my life. My friends on here all have their love as well. Boo, Andres, even Ed, I think he's coming around. But if you could do us a huge favor, and if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, that's huge. And share the link with friends. And if you're listening on podcast, give us a good review if you wouldn't mind. And send us a message, whatever, come to the Discord, whatever you want to do. We really enjoy doing this, but also we've come to really enjoy engagement with fellow fans and fellow people who just find the podcast. So, and in closing, I want to say thanks for being here and, help us spread the message. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to More Than Meets These Guys. This week, Boo, the .net. Well, actually .com now, too. He's going to be joining me for issue number 5 of the Marvel UK original comic, which is the part 1 of the issue number 3 in the US Marvel. So welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, there he is. First of all, I gotta say the cover is great. Someone took, I guess the box art of like Thundercracker and almost kind of redrew it. So he's in the back corner of like the kind of back half of the issue, and there's this big, like black fist, like I guess a Starscream was supposed to be holding a Sparkplug. It's a fantastic cover.
That's definitely a toy-based Thundercracker.
Oh yeah.
And here's the funny thing: is Skywarp's fist is purple, Starscream's is blue, so that's Thundercracker's fist holding him in front of Thundercracker.
Yeah, pretty much. He's
talented.
Yeah. But it's actually a really nice looking cover. I mean, if you're gonna have the toy art, I guess the original box art.
Oh yeah,
it's a good looking cover still.
It's painted. It's really nice, and I like the way his intakes kind of bridge. Like one is behind the title and one is in front of.
Yeah,
so it's like it's kind of straddling it.
Yeah, even like the one. I don't know. There's the one on the. I guess it would be his left. Yeah, being in front of the R. It's kind of nice. Anyways, I always enjoy those kinds of looks on the covers of these things. And this is Into the Evil Decepticons Stronghold. So, yay. So you bring up my notes here real quick. So, man, first of all, I got to jump in here to see the editor. The editor is chastising people for using first-class mail stamps.
Oh, yeah.
He's going like, hey, first of all you lot, you don't have to use first-class mail. We have a long window of opportunity to get your stuff in, so just chill the first class mail. Don't waste your money. I don't know. I thought it was kind of great.
Oh yeah. And I looked it up, and first class mail looks like it's the equivalent of what in the US we would have as express mail.
So these kids are sending their letters in by express mail?
Yeah, they're overnighting it basically. It's like next day delivery. So when they say first class, they really mean it's first class. Whereas, in America, it's the lowest class of mail besides like media. It's the cheap mail, where it's the expensive mail in the UK. Now, something about the cover, the artist was John Ridgway. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was the first artist on Hellblazer.
Really? Okay, I'm a huge fan of the early Hellblazer stuff, so that's great.
Yeah, so he's the first artist to work on Hellblazer. He also worked on 2000 AD.
Okay.
And was the first artist chosen to depict Judge Dredd without his helmet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he got that big reveal.
Man.
He also worked on Doctor Who comics from 1984 to 95 and did a Captain Jack comic for Torchwood magazine in 2010.
Oh, nice.
So this guy is like, you should be his biggest fan because it's like everything you like he's worked on. Let's see. Oh, he also worked on the Babylon 5 comic for DC, which is Transformers adjacent, since Larry DiTillio wrote for Babylon 5.
God.
So yeah, that's what I have on John Ridgway. But yeah,
there are some really, really, really cool people who have worked on this first, I guess in US 4 issues and the UK 8 issues.
Yeah.
So I love the editor on these on the letters columns. Man, I love the way he talks to people.
Like, yeah.
Now look here, you lot. Some of you need a good telling off. I know pocket money has to go a long way. So so when we arrange competitions in Transformers, I'm careful to give you plenty of time to send in your entries. Even so, lots of you still use first class stamps when you write in. These competitions aren't judged till after the closing date to give readers all over the country an equal chance. So check the closing dates to see whether you really need to send your entries first class. Yeah, he just like rips into these kids. They're like, oh, I'm sorry.
He's got like a dad vibe to him.
He totally does.
Or almost like a ringleader.
Yeah. So, the Autobots fact file.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, Megatron. Man, and like, once again, they're using the Watts box art, which he loved. Man, that toy never looked that good as the box art does. that is honestly, the original Megatron is iconic, but is probably the least impressive of those like Gunnerobo figures. He just the way he stands. I've seen the revolver, the black revolver. I can't think of his name in the Gunnerobo series.
Magnum,
thank you. And Browning, they actually have a bit of a a presence. When you put a Megatron, stand him up, he's like trying not to fall over the entire time. But he looks really cool as a character. Toy, a little bit to be desired.
He was all about the gun mode. That was the role play toy.
Yeah, and the cannon emplacement though was a nice thing you could have. The other ones did not have, because he was once again the gun from the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh yeah, and then all the different ways you could put him together.
Yeah,
for all the different cannons and stuff you could make on him. And the giant sniper rifle.
Yeah,
was the one I liked, because that was just ridiculous.
It was.
Much there was on that one,
man. And so if you need to remind a reminder that this is a British comic. They have a little I guess they have a thing for Taifu tea. So it's like what is it, the Taifu tea and the Wonders of Wildlife kits. I don't know, it's kind of charming.
Yeah.
You'd have an American comics, probably a Hostess comic. They have a Taifu tea thing.
Oh yeah, you get the Hostess comics and then like the full page Sea Monkey ad.
Oh my god, the Sea Monkey ads! I forgot about those. Yep. So there's a letter. This guy is asking about an annual or a cartoon for Transformers, and he kind of reminds you that the cartoon came after the comic. Their editor's like, yeah, there's something they're already working on something for a cartoon. He was very, very, very vague about it. That was kind of neat to see that they kind of give you an idea of the time frame of this. But there's also, so I remember when I was younger, we loved the Marvel Superheroes RPG. And there's there's a big blurb in the middle of the the letters page about the fact that there is a Marvel superhero RPG, the one we had when I was younger. That's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah, it was the first book they were advertising there.
Yeah, definitely, and it's kind of cool seeing all that. It gives you a good idea of placement of time.
Yeah, this was like Marvel's big expansion time, because they also started the Secret Wars toy line around this time too. So.
I mean, considering who shows up in the end of this with what suit he's wearing.
Yeah.
But so there's the opening of the comic. Man, it's a great splash page. Half of the screen's taken up by like Sparkplug stuck in was it Skywarp it took off? No, it's a Starscream.
Starscream, yeah.
He's sitting there, Starscream's canopy, and there's like an overhead shot of him like banging out, saying like, Sparkplug is a prisoner of war.
Yeah. He's got that George Jetson, Jane stopped this crazy thing look on his face.
He kind of does, actually. But yeah, Starscream remarks that machines have been slaves in this world long enough. And Sparkplug pulls up the you'll never get away with this. I'm an American citizen. Oh, okay.
America.
America.
Starscream has like the best dialogue in this one, where it's like, Sparkplug's telling him, hey, let me out of here. And he's like, oh, well, if I did that, you'd fall to your death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it reminded me a lot of the banter that Starscream had with Dr. Arkeville in Countdown to Extinction.
Kind of is.
Always the little smart remarks back to, the pitiful human.
Yeah. They're squishy.
Oh, he also calls Earth a repulsive world.
Yeah. I mean,
they really don't like it here.
But yeah, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Thundercracker and Scarp transform, and Soundwave, Megatron, and Rumble get dumped on the ground pretty much. I mean, these are like motions as they fly out, but they're basically like they're just dumping them on the ground.
Oh yeah, that's when it showed them changing size.
Yeah,
and they had a perfect chance to explain it.
Yeah,
and they didn't. They just said it was astonishing.
So, so what? 40 years later, we're still like, I wonder how they did it.
Yeah. Magic.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a wizard.
So yeah, like Megatron has this this thought bubble. This is long, he's thinking through the stuff about Starscream is like, the only way I hold on to leadership is my fusion cannon. And he's hyper aware that Starscream is being very ambitious. He's this whole he's walking when you think about this with Starscream's in the background. And he's thinking like the only way I can hold on to a leadership is it hinges on this fusion cannon on his arm. I don't know. It's kind of cool seeing that those inner thoughts, those inner monologues.
And it shows, he's a little insecure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like his gun is the only thing it's his security blanket.
Oh, and then it really kind of goes to during the comics, especially early the Marvel comics of this, Megatron wasn't as all powerful. I mean, there was a lot of I guess would be leaders kind of usurping power. I mean, you go into Shockwave,
spoilers.
Oh, okay, sorry, Rat Bat. Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, they juggled Decepticon leaders a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think one of my favorite leaders in the comics was probably Scorponok.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that he was like a planner. He's a schemer. I liked how he did things. He wasn't just like running around. But I enjoyed that, I think. And he knew the benefits of working with the Autobots.
Mm-hmm.
Until he didn't have to anymore than he did. Yeah. There's this great. Okay, once again, you go from the line art, then you go to the color. They do this back and forth once again because the UK's like that. There's like this Megatron's over there and Starscream's holding Sparkplug, and he goes, "We are not of your world." And Sparkplug just spitting, man. It's like, no kidding.
You think?
Megatron lays out, what's going on here, that they need, like, just like he needs oxygen to breathe, they need fuel to work. Sparkplug makes the best observation. He gets like they had a great energy source on the nuclear power plant, and their fingertips, they disassembled them into their base. I mean, Sparkplug's like, what? Do they understand what they did? Yeah, so
he said they're like modern men trying to live in caveman times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're out of their element. They can't even fathom our technology. It's so far below them.
Yeah, so they took what could have been actually a really good way to solve their problem, and they tore it apart.
Yeah. They
So-
broke it and made a house out of it.
Yeah, they did. Not the best house either. Uh, so,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
well,
go ahead. Oh, I was going to talk about him when he starts giving him his name, rank, and serial number. Were you going there next, or?
Yeah, he reveals he was a Korean War POW and a Marine, first class.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool, you know. Once again, you know, because they do a lot of good exposition just with these little details here and there. It's like they don't have to like beat you over the head with it.
Right.
And I didn't remember that at all. It's been so many years since I've read these, so that was kind of a neat thing to see.
Well, and it's Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% right.
Yeah. And this is the first time we see his first name.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Yeah, he says his name is William.
mm-hmm.
Okay. But later in the series, it says his name is Irving.
Okay, I remembered Irving. That's William kind of threw me off.
Yeah. And that's in the infamous Car Wash of Doom issue.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then Bob Budiansky revealed at BotCon 2010 that the S in S Witwicky Auto Repair stood for Stanislaus Peter.
What?
Yeah, because I guess it's a Polish name. Witwicky is a Polish name, and he named him after someone that he knew. But that's what it stood for.
God, that's such a weird detail.
Yeah, so there are 3 names for Sparkplug. Or I guess 4 technically.
Your name is Sparkplug. My name is Kunta Kinte. So yeah, man, but back to the Witwicky garage, Buster assesses the situation with the desperate Autobots. Bumblebee blames himself, and then Optimus takes the blame. They are ready to like fall on the sword. Everyone here. Bumblebee looks actually like the Sunbow model now, though, which is kind of nice. That the horns, the kind of kind face that the Sunbow.
Yeah, a mouth.
Yeah, actual mouth on him. The Windcharger, Jesse, there's also Windcharger there, which is kind of nice. Jesse and O show up. O remarks that they resemble George Lucas rejects. Man, Jesse's like, I don't know, he's kind of a jerk here. So, yeah. Anyway,
Windcharger is in tailgate colors.
He is, but I kind of really don't attribute a lot of that because the coloring on these issues are very suspect.
Oh yeah, so I just thought that was interesting that his doppelganger from 2 years later, he's in those colors.
Someone saw it and goes, "Oh, that's a great idea. We'll use those colors."
Right, run with it.
Run, take it, go, print it. So yeah, this whole weird thing. Once again, I like the idea of the George Lucas rejects kind of placing the time frame of the comic. So
totally. Yeah, this was right after Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
When people were expecting a new Star Wars like any year.
Any year. It's coming soon.
Instead they got Howard the Duck.
God. That was such a weird movie. Loved it when I was younger, mind you, but such a weird movie. But, so we take a break here. And I understand you have a little bit of knowledge about the Saturday morning show with a robot called Civhead.
Yes, I looked this up. I had to find out about Civhead.
This is such a weird thing, but please.
Yeah, he was a robot created as like a little character on a show called Saturday Superstore. It was a British television series for children that aired on BBC One from the 2nd of October 1982 to the 18th of April in 1987. And it often featured musical artists who would open the phone lines live so viewers could talk to the bands. So it was like a little variety show type thing. Okay. And its most infamous moment is when they had a band called Matt Bianco, which had like a super spy theme. They made a promotional appearance, and a live caller named Simon phoned in and called them all a bunch of wankers on live TV. And so that's like an early meme. Like that's still, you can still buy t-shirts that say, Matt Bianco, you're a bunch of wankers.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like, yeah, it went viral before the internet over there.
That's great.
And you can actually look it up on YouTube. There's the clip of that, and you can find just that scene and just see their faces. They were not happy with it.
Open phone lines, everyone.
Oh yeah,
That's fantastic.
well, especially on a kids show. So
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the thing, and I started looking a little bit about it. And you said, "Man, I've spent like a day, like basically deep diving into what the Saturday Morning Superstore is all about."
Oh yeah, there was a deep dive, especially about the Simon Call. That's what 90% of what people talk about that show is the Simon Call.
Man, people usually remember things like that for the wrong reasons, not the reasons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, today we don't really think much about it, especially over here on this side of the Atlantic. But back then, in that location, that was a really bad thing. So basically, he called them a bunch of chronic masturbators.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
God, I almost
So
want to
yeah,
find a shirt.
early trolling right there.
That's what you get to open phone lines, folks. Open phone lines. Who's on next? Simon. It's probably a good reason we don't do live people on here, popping in.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, think about the stuff you've seen that's gone down on public access when they do that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, this is one of those moments.
Besides the guy who buys airtime on public access to preach and then do rap songs and stuff. What's that guy's name?
I forgot his name.
Something of
I know you're
life.
talking about the Spirit of Truth.
Spirit of Truth. Oh
yeah, that's something. Yeah,
man,
he was on
access.
Tosh once.
What's that?
He was on Tosh.0 once.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite things on YouTube I found recently.
Oh yeah, it's bizarre.
It's so weird. I showed it to my stepson, and he's laughing. He's like, "What is this?" I said, "I don't know, man. This guy, he's a preacher who bought time on the local access, and this is what he does with the time."
He screams and curses at everyone that calls in.
Man, I love it. It's so good. But back to Transformers. Speaking of religion.
Oh yeah.
So Optimus Prime says we must return to the Ark immediately to refuel. And O is down there going, the Ark? And it's not going to rain anything, is it? Oh, that's the ship.
Yeah, he made a Noah's Ark reference.
Yeah, a little fun little joke about what's going on with all that. But so the whole problem with them going out and trying to get fuel is, man, the Ark's not really big on power either. It's really low.
Oh yeah, that's some old gas in that ship.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like once we refueled, you have my word, will return your father to you.
Oh yeah, and they just transform in front of the entire neighborhood. So like the whole robots in disguise thing is like done.
The police, the neighbors, I mean the crowd outside.
Yeah.
They're
dog catcher, they're all there.
Oh yeah, and the mailman's there. Like, I want to tell people at the post office. They're going to believe what happened. And like, I think it's he's sitting there. Maybe it's not I don't know. Some random person goes like, "Wow."
Oh yeah, that's some other guy.
Yeah, they load up Sideswipe and Hound to the back of his trailer and drive off. It's kind of nice to see them use the trailer for something like that.
Yeah, they've got a lot of use out of the trailer. And I mean, in the previous scenes, it's still there. Like, it doesn't disappear at all.
Yeah, it's not one of those. I think when they accepted things when we were younger, it was like it goes off to like a pocket dimension or something like that.
All right, well, that's what we made up online, and then eventually that became official because it would just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's literally some scenes in the cartoon we've seen and Ultimate Doom where you see it materialize, like it's all glowy and then it's there.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Jesse starts swooning over Buster going to help his dad, And like O's over here trying to find excuses not to help. And like Jessie Lynch says, she goes, Buster's risking his life to save his father. I always knew he was sensitive. I didn't realize he was so brave. And O's over there going, gee, I'd come along and help, but I don't think my folks would understand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, now, do you see the truck in the background going over the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the truck from the US1 comic.
Wow,
which that was another toy licensed comic that they were doing at the time. I don't know if you remember, it was a trucker comic. And yeah, that's the truck from US1 driving in the background. So it's another little Marvel cameo.
Nice. Oh man, so there's a motorcycle cop hanging out there, and he has a little thought bubble, like because he sees Buster in the cab of Optimus Prime. And he's like, that kid and his friends must be looking for trouble. Why else would they pass me going at 30 miles over the limit? I don't know how fast the Autobots are going, but I'm assuming they're like there's barreling through, the countryside.
I mean, 30 miles over the limit, that's like the minimum for like the slow lane nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're gonna get run off the road going that slow.
I've read my notes here. So was reading this, we were reading this a couple weeks ago. My notes are Punch clocks the Autobots at 30 over the speed limit. Oh, Punch.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, he does look like one of the chips.
Yeah, exactly. So we have another robot roundup.
Oh yes,
which is kind of cool. They have they talk about the people who actually work on the robots. Not just the robots themselves. And the picture is them like an engineer working with a screwdriver trying to adjust a robotic hand.
Yeah, it's a really good hand too. That's a really detailed hand.
That is, considering the time. I mean, I don't know. I'm really not sure what it goes to. Did it really? I guess I don't know if I remembered reading what it goes to. It was just a a representation of what they were working on. It's really cool though.
Yeah, that's Percy's hand.
Oh, it's Percy's. Okay.
Yeah. Which I did a little digging on this part too.
No, by all means, please.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of talk in here about AIs taking our jobs.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
which is timely these days. This is it's more that premonition instead of real world factors creeping in. This is like factors of the future creeping in.
It was prophetic. We didn't even
know. And they go about was it Dennis Weston's Tinker car wash robot, and then Percy. So Dennis Weston created both of those. First, he built a car washing robot, which that's not that uncommon anymore.
No, not at all.
Yeah, every gas station has one. And then Percy was the first one to have that he built that had human-like hands and 360 vision. So it's already better than us because you can see all the way around its head.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now.
Yeah, so it's better than most Transformers, honestly.
Well, they're
can't sneak up behind him,
old.
Right? Let's see. They talked about robots having simulated voices, which that's a big deal right now. Talking refrigerators, which we have smart fridges that'll tell you when you're low on milk.
Yeah.
AI televisions and robo doctors, and they're actually pushing towards like I guess triage AIs, so you can talk to them before you talk to a doctor. And I mean, people have been using WebMD for how long to find out that they don't have cancer,
or they could have cancer.
Yeah, they could have. Everything is cancer. So yeah, and it says over one of the predictions they had is that over time people will become more tolerant at communicating with machines. And yeah, we do. I mean, how often is it just commonplace you see talk to Siri or Alexa, or Cortana or whatever else, is out there, these little digital assistants in our phones. We carry them in our pockets.
I think he just like started like alerting all my Alexa and like Siri devices.
See, now they're listening. They're like, they're talking about us again.
Ooh, they all start going off.
And they talked about user ease, which is basically like a type of language we would use to speak to these AIs. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And there's certain phrases you have to use when you're talking to your digital assistants to to get what you want out of them. I mean, when they're not eavesdropping and ordering stuff because you talked about something you saw on TV. But
there's an episode of South Park, wasn't it, where they were the Alexa episode?
Oh yeah,
they started mentioning things, and like the Alexa would start filling the cart.
Right. Yeah. All kinds of stuff, and it was just picking up ambient conversation, and that's happened like to quite a few people. But the other thing I was thinking of with the user ease is, this applies to like the prompts that use on Stable Diffusion and Midjourney for the generative AIs.
Yeah,
you have to phrase things a certain way, and so basically you have to learn how to speak to them.
Yeah, you basically learn the positive and negative prompts.
Right. You learn how exactly to say the certain phrases to get what you want out of it. And so this prediction was spot on. We're doing that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, well, even like when you talk to your Xbox or whatever, and you have certain phrases to tell turn on or turn off or whatever.
Do you remember that we used to play on the Xbox and I had the Connect and I would be saying something and I would start popping on the screen. I'd be like, Xbox, stop listening.
That's exactly what I thought of. I read that.
You guys would be dying. We'd be playing GTA 5 and I'd just say something about like the Xbox and it would pop up like, yes. Stop listening. God.
Oh, so Sir Clive Sinclair in this article is quoted as saying, in decades, not centuries, machines of silicon will arise, first to rival and then surpass their human progenitors. Once they surpass this, they will be capable of their own design. And like I said, this was 1984 when this was quoted. I didn't see exactly when he said that, though. But yeah, I mean, that's like, I guess, a big social problem right now. It's a controversy because the AIs are starting to catch up to us.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we have a lot of AIs that mimic human like thinking, but can't really tell if they actually they're developing their own thoughts. And then we let an AI go to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've heard of like the instances where like the Bing bot would do things that were like, it would like start, I don't know, was it the one that got very racist?
Oh, there's been a few of them that did that, like within a day.
Yeah. Let loose on the internet, what it'll find. There was one that started doing, I don't know, like porn talk.
Mm-hmm.
There was, it's just what we have out there. If we have AI learning, we need to, it's like teaching a child. You need to be very careful about what you are teaching.
Right. You can't just let your kid run wild on the internet or they'll run across some stuff that'll warp their brains. And we're letting these infant minds, these computer minds, just browse the entire internet. And it's like that. You don't know that's a bad idea.
One of the favorite lines from the 2007 Transformers movie, like, oh, you could talk. He's like, yes, we've learned from your internet. Every time I hear that line, it cracks me up like, man.
From the World Wide Web.
Yeah, the World Wide Web. Like,
and then there's always a joke from Avengers, where Ultron spent 5 minutes on the internet and decided that humanity had to go. He's like, nope.
There's something you said for AI being guided. Like if you were to, I don't know, try to teach a generative AI art program, you want to, you feed it your own prompts to kind of develop it.
Oh yeah, which I'm all into that.
Well, exactly. I was mentioning it that way.
Yeah, and they can't function without us. It's not just making art on its own. It's just another tool to be used to generate more stuff. It reminds me a lot of like the filters and the filters use algorithms anyway. The ones that make you look old or make you look young and all that. It's just the next step in that.
Well, I mean,
you still have to guide it.
Yeah, like you and I talked, they back in the old days, it used to be, synthesizers were, they were not real music, or sampling wasn't real music,
right?
Or all, what we were saying, like Warhol, what his art was considered not real art.
Oh yeah, well, even the invention of the camera was met with controversy because they thought, well, people can just take a perfect image of a site or a person, then that's going to put all artists out of work. They predicted that, and that's not what happened. And Sir Clive went into that.
Mm-hmm.
He says, that he felt that these machines will probably put many people out of their jobs, but in the long run, they'll open the door to a much better world where people have more freedom and more interest in art, music, and a higher standard of living. Which it's kind of ironic that now it seems like people are worried about competing with them in art and music.
Yeah, and honestly, if I've messed around with AI art on the web. When you go to a web prompt, that's taking everything people put into it before that and trying to make an image of what you're saying. When you're teaching something on your own system, like you do, that's you are guiding it towards something you want to do. So I don't know. It's interesting, and it's coming. So whether we embrace it or we fight it, it's coming.
Oh yeah, well, all the major digital art, I guess, standards like Adobe and Shutterstock and all that, they're all developing their own AI. Apple announced they're doing it.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to have it in their Apple device, and if Apple's doing it, Android's going to be doing it. Microsoft is doing it. Google,
Oh God,
well,
yes.
Microsoft's Bing, has its own generative AI right now.
So people who are saying it's stealing this, or every artist learns from other art they come across. So whether we let it loose into the interwebs or we teach it and kind of push it towards a certain style. Think of yourself as a like a high school art teacher.
Well, and art is a continuity. I mean, going all the way back to Egypt and to the Renaissance, go through Rome and all that, and all the way to the Renaissance. We're all a continuity of sharing these ideas and building upon them. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
So the only way to be part of that continuity is to be part of it. You can't, if you hold out your art or whatever you creatively make, then it's going to disappear with you when you die. So every artist, at least traditionally, hopes to inspire the next generation. And I mean, it's inevitable that, some of those in the next generation are going to be artificial intelligences.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known this for a long time. I mean, this book we're reading right here is actually about artificial intelligences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so thank you everyone for coming to our TED Talk.
Right. So yeah, it's just very timely that this article pops up. Like we read it right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is something we've been thinking about for 40 years.
Yeah.
And now it's just, we got to the point now where things are happening so fast. And people, they want to put their foot down and get off the merry-go-round. But the thing is, it's going to keep going anyways. The merry-go-round is going to keep spinning. If you put your foot down to stop things, it's going to keep going without you.
Well, that's why I chose to jump into it, because I was kind of late to the game getting into like Photoshop and digital art. I was a traditional artist.
Yeah.
And so, I felt a little intimidated by it. But I went and I took classes and went and got an art degree. And like a lot of it was, working with digital media, like Illustrator and InDesign and all that. And I just dove in and found it, and it was fun. It was intimidating at first to learn how to work it. But, after that, I could do great things with stuff I couldn't do before.
Yeah.
And when the generative AI popped up, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of the curve on this. I'm going to jump in and find it out, because I'm not going to let it, intimidate me. I'm going to learn how to master it, so I'm not intimidated by it.
Yep. And, honestly, you could say, it's going to replace things. No, it's not. It's going to make another, I don't know, another medium.
Yeah, it's going to be another genre of art, just like digital art is, and just like photography is.
AI is not going to learn to paint with a brush and a canvas.
Well, and it might, but that'll be, that'll literally be artificial intelligence art or robot art.
Yeah.
I mean, no one was scared of Coco the gorilla when she started painting.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's gorilla art.
Oh man. Anyways, moving back to Transformers.
Right.
These fake AIs. So so
the ones we like.
Yeah, exactly. There's the cops chasing down like all the Autobots, and he's like, this isn't the Indy 500. Pull over, kid. And Gears runs up to him. He's like,
hey, get lost, two wheels. We're trying to save your world. There's no stopping us now.
Yeah, Gears insults a cop
Yeah, pretty much.
right off the bat.
And like, it's just as Sarge always said, if you put enough miles, you'll believe a car could talk. Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's like the old trope, where the guy sees Mr. Ed talk, so he throws his whiskey flask out of his pocket away.
Yeah.
It's-
So they drive back over the mountain and make it back to the Ark, and Ratchet looks like the Sunbow Ratchet.
Yeah,
But
they finally got the finalized model for him.
yeah, and Auto Launcher's there working on the Ark, basically rebuilding and stuff.
And he's driving around on roller.
Yeah.
Just like the new core class Optimus that they just showed on Hasbro Pulse. But yeah, they've got that configuration in this issue.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've been able to do that with the toy.
Yeah.
At least that I'm aware of.
Yeah, because I mean the original one's attached to the trailer.
Right.
I think you can actually take it off on the Earthrise, but you can't really put it on. There's roller thing isn't happening because
there's no roller in it. You
Yeah,
have to get the Centurion Centurion,
yes.
Drode from
which I ended up getting myself, and it doesn't work. So yeah, this is the first one that works with.
That's how they get you.
Yep. And I love it, man. Like, so Buster's having the time of his life. They're pulling up. He's like, wow, the Ark is unbelievable. Meanwhile, Sparkplug, Mr. William Sparkplug Witwicky, is being tortured by Laserbeak.
Oh yeah, with his eye beams.
Yeah.
See, Laserbeak's living up to his interrogation function.
He is. He's being interrogated heavily, and he's like, he's basically doing the chalk outline with the lasers on the wall.
Oh yeah, even traced around his fingers.
Yeah, he did. So, yeah, they basically like, hey, y'all, do what you have to. He's like, okay. Megatron's like, you can stop, torturing him, Laserbeak, essentially. So yeah, he's like, okay, yeah, I can work with you guys, but I need a sample of your fuel. So, Rumble here, by the way, in this comic is red.
Yeah, he matches the toy colors.
Yep. So we haven't gotten quite there yet with the show colors yet. So he like, hey, Rumble, give this guy some of your fuel. He's like, yeah, no problem, boss. He takes off his hand or something. He does something with his hand, and he like shoots like, I don't know, it looks like gasoline or something from his arm.
Yeah, some kind of oil looking substance.
Yeah, but I like it though because his first use of this, he is like, say when, Scraplet.
Yeah, that's the first time Scraplet shows up in the comic.
Which is kind of cool.
Or in all the lore, really.
Yeah, it's the first time it's ever mentioned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm just laughing at, that Sparkplug, he's a grease monkey, and he's just going to be able to take this mech fluid from Rumble and somehow find a way to make gasoline into that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he'd have to be like Walter White to do that. He would still have trouble with that kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't even know where to begin to try to figure out where this alien fluid could be turned from gas, or if it's even possible. It reminds me of like Jeff Goldblum and his Mac Power book on Independence Day.
Oh my God, yes.
Hack right into the alien ships.
It'll work just fine.
Right?
But yeah, so he's over there going like, I still need raw materials. Like, yeah, nothing's beyond our means, human. What do you require? He's like, well, I'm gonna need, fuel in a lab. Man, freaking Soundwave goes to Eugene, Oregon, home of the Oregon Ducks, and steals this huge chemistry lab equipment thing. It looks like
it's a chemistry machine.
It's like this big metal machine that does chemistry, I guess.
It looks like something from Dr. Seuss.
It does.
Those contraptions he always had, that thing makes Star-Bellied Sneetches or something.
There's a guy in the chem lab who's like, I'd quit for this job. I wasn't so close to retirement. Like, okay, man, whatever. That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's the security guard that's like shooting Soundwave in the butt.
Yeah.
It's like bing, bing, bing.
Rumble like starts crashing the road, and he says like, end of the line, pink thing. That is the weirdest, most awkward
I guess, way to talk to a human, but I mean, whatever. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah. Well, and Bumblebee called Sparkplug and Buster pink things before when he
That's
was in their garage. Yeah, do all pink things talk so much?
That's right. It's cool though. Like Rubble like takes the Acme truck, which by the way, it's an Acme fuel truck, wraps a cord around it, and throws a lasso up to Starscream.
Oh yeah,
This will work. Starscream lassos a fuel tanker, and he flies it and it's jet mode back to the base.
Well, and with Acme, so that's like the cheap fuel. They got like the cheapest gas.
Yep.
You know, like brand X. They got generic gas to turn into Transformer fuel.
There is this great like few panels of different like it pulls it into the Marvel universe even more. So it's like in DC you have the White House and there's these voice bubbles. Well, at least no injuries were reported. The robot's raid on Harrison nuclear power plant were enabled at this time to prove that the Russians are controlling robots, sir.
Well, you know what that is, right?
What's that?
That's a Reagan impression. Well,
Oh, it is.
at least no injuries.
Oh my God.
They
is actually
went right in with the Reagan well.
Which plays into the next thing from Moscow. And they're sorry, it's in brackets, and the little asterisk down the bottom says translated from Russian, Bob. They must be testing their Star Wars arsenal, comrade.
Oh yeah, good old strategic defense initiative.
Yeah.
That's more real world factors leaking in there.
Man, this places it right in that time frame. This is so good. Because when I was growing up, I kept hearing Star Wars on the news. I was so confused. And
yeah, they didn't even show Star Wars in Russia for like decades. Like they showed Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but they wouldn't show Star Wars because it was linked to the SDI.
That's great.
They didn't want them to think we had a Death Star.
Oh man, so the next panel in the flying headquarters of America's super spy organization SHIELD, the David Hasselhoff there's Dum Dum Dugan
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. Dum Dum Dugan's behind him, with his bowler and all that. He's like, "We got to check out what's going on in Oregon, Nicholas." And Fury is over there. He looks like the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury. Like Dum Dum, if that big green fire snorting lizard is loose again, I quit.
Yeah, so you have a Godzilla reference there too.
And they pulled in all the stops on this. They pulled in all the things from different genres just to get it all in here, and placed it with the timestamp when it happened. That's fantastic.
Right? Yeah, this is set firmly in the '80s Marvel universe.
Mid '80s Marvels, perfect.
But just for the miniseries, this is soon like wiped away.
Yeah.
In fact, in the letters column in the U.S., they actually told everyone just to stop bringing it up.
That's nice. So actually, I'm not familiar with like Spider-Man at this time, so I'm not familiar with the new editor-in-chief Joe Robertson.
Yeah, that's Robbie Robertson.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe is his like first name. He goes Joe Robbie Robertson.
Okay, I never got that. But yeah, so he's basically sending Peter Parker as assignment. He's really good experience with shooting Spider-Man, so he's going to send him out to find out what's going on with this with the power plant.
Oh yeah, well, all the news reporters are reporting on shape-changing robots, so that whole disguise thing is completely blown by this issue. There's no disguise.
So and Dawn, and like this is a great thing with like all these news crews outside. There's tanks, there's soldiers outside of the I called it outside Castle Ravenloft, Castle Decepticon here.
Right.
It looks like this really weird amalgamation of like, I don't know, metal and stone castle thing in the distance.
Yeah, because it's up on like a hillside, but it's like a precarious point. It's not like where a stable castle would be built. It's like hanging over the side.
It's Castle Dracula up there. It really is.
Oh yeah. Simon Belmont's gonna go run up in that and solve all the problems.
Wait, not Simon Belmont, Peter Parker. So, and he's over there like worried about not getting able to get exclusives because there's so many people there, and I got to break away. And once again, puts it firmly in this time frame in the mid 80s Marvel, because Peter Parker has the symbiote suit, but it's before before all the stuff happens with Venom and Carnage and all that. So
Oh
right
yeah,
now
he didn't even know it was like an alien at this time. He just thought it was a really fancy space suit.
exactly, he got it from the Secret Wars, comics.
Yeah, the Battle World.
Yeah, Battle World. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah. I love it. He says, like, this costume's quite a time saver. All I have to do is think about changing it. It takes care of the rest. Yeah, because it's learning. It's an AI. It's learning.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though. Okay, you see how
Yeah.
his clothes instantly change into the costume, right?
Yeah.
Save that thought for later.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because it's important.
Oh, yeah. So
and
what's that?
Go ahead. Oh, I was about to talk about that too. The message from the military.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they do a Mars attacks because the military sends them a message saying, "We come in peace," and Megatron replies by sending Starscream out to kill him.
Yeah. Starscream can handle this petty annoyance. He's like, "Yeah, we got this." Meanwhile, Sparkplug is in there with the Acme gasoline truck, and the University of Oregon's chemistry lab thing. He's got this little you remember the old oil can things that you put your bottom? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, he's got one of those up there for some reason, and the stopper
in case the Tin Man needs it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's got like the super deluxe Mr. Wizard set in there too. So.
He does. He has all the cool looking chemistry beakers and such. So yeah, Starscream and the other Seekers go out there and just basically start laying. Okay, we also once again we're having something brought up in the in this comic that it's been in the news here lately. So the general or whatever is like, look out, they're hitting with his cluster bombs. Yep. Cluster bombs. We just talked about it recently, actually, on one of the last episodes, and it's been a big thing with Ukraine and Russia. How basically how destructive they can be, and how horrible they are.
And they've been outlawed for since 2012, I believe.
Yeah, well, they're not outlawed over there, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to, I guess, follow the law.
Yeah.
If you can't enforce it, then what good's it going to do to just wave paper at them? If they're waving bombs back at your paper, it's not going to help.
Pretty much. And so the journal's out here saying that fire the anti-aircraft missiles. It looks like a freaking G.I. Joe missile emplacement tank thing.
Well, yeah, that's not the Mobat, but I think that there's another tank that popped up that looked like the Mobat.
Yeah. It's real ambiguous with some of these the Army equipment here.
Yeah.
Because once again, we talked about this has happened in 1984. G.I. Joe was already a comic before this. So it had already been established before Transformers had been established. So
it was like a year or two before.
Yeah. So you could easily. I'm kind of surprised they didn't pull G.I. Joe into this at this point. But
right, it always seems like it should go hand in hand.
You think, yeah? I mean, they're trying to bring everything else Marvel into this. Why not?
Yeah, they got everybody but the other Hasbro properties.
Pretty much. And Thundercracker goes over, does this whole sonic boom thing. It's like, see what happens when they can't hear their orders. And there's the whole boom thing in the panel, and then Buzzsaw. Oh man, Buzzsaw comes up in here, and he runs through the wing of one of these jets that's pursuing the Starscream, the other Seekers.
Yeah, he just slices the wing off like it's nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, all these things are going on this dogfight session here. They're basically getting beat up pretty badly.
Yeah, they're getting trounced.
And this guy has on the back of his helmet United States Air Force, so you know who it is.
Yeah, there's no doubt who this is.
It's not like it's Burger's troops.
Right.
We know who this is.
He's not Rent-A-Planes.
Yeah, exactly. He tries to shoot Skywarp, and Skywarp disappears.
Yeah, it's like everybody's showing off their powers again.
Yep.
And Buzzsaw is insulting him as he's cutting them up, calling them primitive Earth machines.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's not impressed.
No. But we go right into another issue of Machine Man.
Yes.
The
This is a continuing story from last time where, he had the guy's dad dying and he electrified the fence to stop the shooter and caused some strange creation. These people that got electrified by it showed up as these new beings.
yeah, it's man, it's so 80s comics.
Oh yeah.
I mean
So yeah, and this is Wolfman and Ditko again. This is still their story.
it is such a Silver Age kind of story origin.
Well, and here's something that's funny about these new progeny of Machine Man.
Uh-huh.
Did you see in the color pages what they're dressed like?
No.
They're dressed like Speedball.
Huh. They kind of are actually.
You remember Speedball from like the New Warriors?
Very, very vaguely.
He was created by Steve Ditko and Tom DeFalco in '88, 4 years after this. So he liked this costume so much that he adapted it for Speedball.
Nice.
With the yellow and little bubbles all over it. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Machine Man is kind of stupid again.
Well, he's Dynamite.
Yeah, and they keep telling him over and over who they are and that his powers won't work on them. And then every time he attacks them and his powers don't work, he asks them again, "Who are you?" It's like they keep telling him. He's like stuck in a loop. Yeah. And so they put him in a stasis field to restrain him because he keeps ineffectively attacking them for no reason. And then he demands that they release him so he can ineffectively attack them even harder.
Yeah, I'll try this again. No, don't.
Yeah, it's still not working. And then we get a slight commercial break with the 4-in-line electronic AI battery operated game, which looks like Connect 4.
It essentially is Connect 4, but you're playing against a computer.
But the cool thing about this is there's a contest, another contest. They loved giving kids free toys in the UK. Dude, we got nothing like this over here.
So many contests. There is like 8 prices worth like what, £25 each?
Yeah, I believe that's the it's the game. Like you win the game, yeah. And you had to unscramble the Transformers names to win the prizes.
Oh, that's right.
And it's some pretty good gibberish. But I actually went through and worked them out.
Please do, because I completely forgot to go through these.
Oh yeah. So number 1 is Wind Charger.
Oh,
number 2, is Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
which that was the messiest one.
That's yeah.
Yeah, number 3 is Starscream.
I see that.
Number 4 is Laserbeak, but it's spelled with a Z instead of an S.
It is. I see that.
So they threw you a curveball there.
Nice.
Yeah. So then we get back to Machine Man. Okay.
He's gonna give them all a big hug.
Yeah. Well, we have a real world factor creeping in because he says humanity is destroying itself. And when you point it out, they state that salvation costs too much.
Oh.
Which we're dealing with that right now too. This whole issue is like prophetic for what we're dealing with now. They were like 40 years early, or at least they tried to warn us 40 years ago. And this comic is actually from the 70s. I think it's from 79.
Wow.
Originally. So it goes even further back.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah. And then we get the Transformers subscription page after that.
Yeah, which honestly I kind of like the little comic there. It's like Gears and Black Suit Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's a preview of next issue.
Yep.
But go ahead.
No, I said, it's kind of cool seeing this stuff. You kind of forget that you could do a subscription service but through mail for comics. I mean,
so the postal service could mangle your comics
pretty much. Like, that's why when I was my late teens, early 20s, we had a comic shop. They just put them all in a box for us and we go pick them up. And it's much safer that way.
Well, here's the thing: is while at this point in the U.S., we didn't know the series was going to be anything more than the 4-issue limited series.
Yeah.
But here we are in what I guess correlates to issue 3. Yeah, and they're letting them know that there's a year subscription. So that they knew before we did that it was going to be a continuing series.
Yeah, apparently it was, looking at these letters and looking at how they're treating it, looked like it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
They
ran with it.
The opener is overspill. There's a lot of like fan art, which is not bad for kids trying to draw Transformers they just have seen in a few issues.
Oh yeah, and you see the guy in the middle, the purple
Yeah.
guy with like the red blast?
Yeah,
It looks like Cyclonus.
kind of does.
But
Like, green red.
Cyclonus was way off. Like
Yeah.
Gary hadn't even designed him at this point. But yeah, there's a dude there. It looks like Cyclonus.
Wow. And of course, we also have the robot watch, the Chrono bot or
It's chronoform, yeah.
Chronoform,
But
yeah.
is that the actual chronoform?
I don't know.
Can't
It's just
tell.
robot watch.
Yeah, just robot watch. So
Yeah.
probably not,
Gray would not appreciate that.
right?
It's not
Oh
true
yeah.
chronoform.
I think he'd like it anyway. All the watches are good. It's like all the dogs are good boys. All the watches are good boys.
I remember like years ago when those were really popular. I had a little scorpion one.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was probably the coolest one because they
Yeah.
had the jet and the little robot and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the Scorpion was always the coolest one.
Yeah, I kind of like hated it because I wanted the little robot guy, but who knew I had the cool one?
I'm gonna tell BZ you hated the Scorpion.
Yeah, well, you should know by now.
Mumble,
Back
mumble.
to more Machine Man.
Oh yeah. So he's gone from last issue he was going around just saving random people.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. He was just running from person to person helping everybody. Okay, he's gone from that to wanting to help destroy humanity, to just speed it on its way now. And it's like just 5 minutes earlier he was trying to save as many people as he could. So Machine Man's not stable.
He's not. He's terrible.
Yeah, he's having some bad operating system problems.
You
know what? He's like Red Alert.
The next episode we're gonna do.
Oh yeah.
What a berserk. You all want to see me destroyed.
Oh. Oh yeah. So yeah, Machine Man has a lot in common with Red. But yeah, and so he's fighting people that claim to be his children from him electrifying the fence, who can see his future now. Now they can see the future.
See that he's kind of, I don't know. I feel like he's a little intimidated. So what do you do when you're intimidated? You destroy it, right?
Right, and he's a bad father because these people are saying they're his kids basically, and all he wants to do is beat them up because they know more than he does. Come here, college boy.
Call him Albo.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he really wants to destroy humanity badly.
Yeah.
So his progeny has to start deciding if they're going to kill Machine Man. Like, is he too far gone? Are we not going to be able to let him go? So yeah. Did you go and read through this one? Did you suffer through this one? Oh, okay. Yeah, the dude he's bonkers.
I kind of skimmed through it a bit, so I didn't read every bit of it.
I can understand. It's hard to go through. I just punish myself with it.
It's a brutal comic to read.
I'm paying for sins by reading Machine Man.
It's not the best. When Disco did not do the best work here.
Yeah. Well, Ditko did great work here.
Well, yeah, the art. But
but
Wolfman did not.
Wolfman, yeah. This is an odd period for Wolfman.
Thankfully, he went off to do better things after that.
Oh, totally. He did better stuff before too. So this was just an odd time period.
It was a jobber thing for him.
Totally. Yeah, and so then next we get Matt and the Cat, which this is the first time this comic strip ran. Like this is his debut.
It was so weird.
Yeah, they're mean to Humph the Cat.
Yeah, I just, it seems such a weird placement in this comic.
Yeah, well, I guess because there's a robot in it.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end, it's just kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah, because he says he has to put the cat out, and he puts the cat out like right out of the 5th story window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so Hump falls 5 stories into a trash can, and then I guess a garbage man robot picks up the trash can.
Yeah, pretty much.
They've already got automated garbage men. So
AI garbage men.
Yeah. So they already took their jobs. And then it just leaves us hanging. Like we don't know what's happening after this until next issue.
But then Machine Man comes back.
Yes. There's no escaping Machine Man.
The his progeny, his children decide like, okay, look, we're gonna you've learned, we've taught you what's going on here, so we're gonna leave now. So we're gonna go off to space now. Bye.
Oh yeah. Well, the little kid whose dad was hurt points out the Machine Man saved his dad, so he's not all bad, even though he wants to kill humanity, and like that sways him. Like,
Yeah.
oh, suddenly, like, oh yeah, I'm not a jerk. I was nice to people a while ago. And he's surprised to see this compassion from humans as he's only seen evil. And I really think this guy needs to work on his sample size for his research.
He's like, you remember that time you saved my dad? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
5
remember.
minutes ago.
I remember.
He's still bleeding out over there, by the way.
Now, Aaron, we must go.
Yeah. And yeah, so his progeny just disappear into like a portal of light into the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just poof. And then they all forget about the shooter. And Machine Man and the injured dad and the kid hug. And like nobody cares about the shooter anymore.
Nope. Everything's fine now.
So these guys appear again in Marvel Comics. And
These
we're
guys-
given their name, then they appear in Quasar.
Oh, well.
Yeah. In 1990. So 11 years later, these guys pop up.
Did Wolfman
And-
write that one too?
I don't know. I'd have to look that one up.
You can see him going like, man, I need an idea. Oh, that weird Machine Man comic I made these guys. Oh, that's perfect.
Right?
No one will have read that.
Be the most boring group name in all of Marvel.
Pretty much.
I mean, they sound like they'd be, I guess, lawyers, like rules lawyers, you know. And they remained unnamed for the 11 years until they popped up in Quasar number 14 and 15.
What
And-
was their name again?
The Ethicals.
Oh my God. You kind of broke off when you were talking about it. I didn't quite hear.
Okay. Yeah, they're called the Ethicals. I was going to say that's like the worst group name in all of the Marvel universe.
God.
It's
is the
just
rules
a boring
lawyers.
name. Yeah, exactly. And
Terrible.
well, it fits their fate though, because when you see them again, they've been made guinea pigs in the stranger's lab, like his laboratory world. He's using them as
Wow.
guinea pigs and experimenting on them, and
That's
you
pretty
never
sad.
see them again.
So I gotta say the comic ends with this fantastic like splash page of all the things we loved in the 80s.
Oh,
BMX, Fraggle Rock, Fall Guy, Wham, Spider-Man, Hulk, Return of the Jedi.
oh yeah, it says Conan 2 though, which is the weaker of the Conan movie.
Yeah, it really was. I loved it when I was a little kid, and then I can't stand it. But Knight Rider, what is it? Let me see what this thing. What is it on the right?
Roland
Rat
Ref.
Superstar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Roland
okay. I know. Yeah,
It looks like it's a puppet show, I guess.
looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manimal.
Manimal. Oh man, Manimal.
Manimal. The last time I heard a Manimal reference was on MC3K.
Yeah. I think they made joke of that. Maybe on Family Guy.
Yeah, maybe. Wow, that's a blast. And
Right.
Culture Club and all that. But yeah, Fantastic World of Annuals, Indiana
Yeah, that's
Jones.
a back cover. So
Yeah, I love that. Anyway, so that is.
So
It
is this like their Columbia House? Like instead
kind of
of
looks like it.
tapes, you'd get magazines.
Hard-backed, full-color 1985 annuals from Grand Dreams with 64 feature-packed pages with titles to suit everyone from pop to movies to BMX to TV to comics. There's an annual for you. Yeah, basically they have like the 1985 annuals you could order. 84 annuals for like 12 pounds. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Conan the Destroyer, Dune, Fraggle Rock, Knight Rider, Fall Guy.
The
Mr.
Fall Guy.
Yeah. I can still hear that theme song in my head too.
It's going through my head right now.
That was
Catchy.
Yeah. Wham, Culture Club, BMX bikes, Rolling Rat, Manimal, Spider-Man, Hulk, Return of the Jedi, and the SAS. I don't know the SAS. What is that?
I don't know what the SAS is either. We'll have to look that
Looks
one
like
up.
looks like a military comic or something.
Yeah.
Anyways. So that was issue number 5.
So I'm thinking these are like, we've got the UK Transformers annuals that are hardbacks like
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
I'm guessing that this is more the same.
Oh, probably something like
But
that.
the art on that Return of the Jedi annual is really good for
I
that
actually
time.
when they released the Return of the Jedi, the adaptations in comics. I used to have all those. They
Yeah.
were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by the cover art because I don't remember the art in the comics being that good back
Oh no,
then.
it never
So
was.
yeah,
God no.
but yeah, that's a great cover.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Actually,
got like
that
every
is.
wrinkle in Palpatine's forehead on there.
Well, that might be actually. That might be. I want to say that was issue number 4 or something of the miniseries. Yeah, I remember the comics covers are really good on those. Yeah, it's just like the Star Wars comics themselves. The Star Wars comics were terrible art and weird stories, but
Oh
the covers
yeah,
were great. So, yeah.
good stuff. But yeah, I mean, so I
Here's
wouldn't mind having the Conan the Destroyer, the Dune annual.
yeah. I remember having the Dune comic, the adaptation.
Hmm.
That was another weird one. And it was actually done. It was more like a magazine. I probably was like an annual or something like that. I
Oh
think my
wait, I
brother got it.
remember that one. It had like a lot of screenshots from the movie in it, right?
Yeah, yeah. But you
Yeah.
also had like really cool art.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I know. I know some people are hot and cold on the on David Lynch's Dune. I grew up with it, so I have a love for it, even though I know it's not really good for a good adaptation of the story.
Yeah.
But when you grow up with it, you kind of have a soft place. Like Flash Gordon.
It's
Flash
nostalgia.
Flash Gordon's essentially a terrible movie, but it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, that's always a fun movie. My kids love it. And as soon as they saw that, they're like, "He-Man totally ripped this off."
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. 110%. Yeah. Anyways, all right, guys, that is issue number 5. Honestly, still a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the art. It's kind of cool. And the cultural references and the fact that it timestamps so well. There are
Oh, totally.
so many great timestamps in this. So it was definitely a comic of the era. So I'm really digging that. Have any closing
For
thoughts on
sure.
this?
Let's see. I would like to quote Starscream. Sorry, I gave it away, but we already talked about it. But yeah, the quote I had was, "Let me out of here, you stupid machine." And Starscream goes, "A foolish request. Our analysis of your species finds that if I were to release you at this height, your frail form couldn't possibly survive, and we need you for our purposes whole."
Man, such great dialogue.
Yeah,
All right, everyone.
it's like digs from a Vulcan.
It kind of is. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. We will hopefully be seeing y'all again next week. Take it easy, everyone.
Good night.
Bye. Is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.